Girlfriend is accusing me of being gay because I didn't cheat on her. So picture this. I'm 2 years deep into a relationship with a woman who thinks trust is a 4-letter word. You know the type. Cute, funny, kind when she wants to be, but also more paranoid than a raccoon in a thunderstorm. I'll call her Jess, because every Jess I've ever met could give the CIA a run for their money. Now, I'm not exactly what you'd call a social butterfly. More like a houseplant with Wi-Fi. I go to work, I go to the gym, I play video games, and I eat a lot of cereal at 2 a.m. That's the full extent of my nightlife. But to Jess, apparently I'm Brad Pitt in a hoodie, fending off women left and right like I'm in some kind of rejected The Bachelor spinoff. She's always had this vibe, like she was waiting, expecting to catch me doing something shady. The irony? I was the most boringly faithful boyfriend this side of the Mississippi. But she couldn't believe it. Could not process that a guy might just not cheat. So what did she do? Oh, buddy. She went full Mission Impossible on me. First, there was Facebook. She made a fake profile and tried to friend me, some suspiciously hot local girl with 0 mutuals and a profile pic that screamed, stock photo. Didn't bite. Then came Instagram. Same play, same result. Then, of course, came the final frontier, Reddit. Because, if you know anything about Reddit, it's where socially anxious introverts like me actually will talk to strangers. It's kind of our turf. I post memes, comment on gaming threads, and once got into a 3-hour debate about toaster wattage. Real intellectual stuff. Anyway, one afternoon I get this message from a local girl, saying she saw my post and thought I was hilarious and sexy. First of all, red flag number 1. Nobody has ever called me both of those things in the same sentence. Second, she dropped the name of my city like it was a magic spell, followed by a picture of a woman who looked like she belonged on a shampoo commercial. And I knew. I knew it was Jess. So I replied, "You're not fooling anyone." That's it. Simple. Polite. Not even mean. Just a little nudge like, "Hey, maybe don't treat your boyfriend like a CIA target." Well, that went over about as well as a flat soda. Jess spent the rest of the day doing that thing women do where they say nothing is wrong, but every movement is aggressive, slamming the fridge, breathing too loudly, giving me the silent treatment, but with maximum eye contact. Eventually I called her out. "What's going on?" And she hit me with, "If you were a real man, you wouldn't have responded at all." I laughed. Couldn't help it. A dry, sarcastic, what is even happening kind of laugh. I handed her my phone, gave her the passcode and told her to go wild. Search it all. Texts, DMs, browser history. Hell, check my screen time if you want. She took it. Disappeared into the bedroom for a full hour like she was doing forensic analysis. She probably had a whiteboard and a crime scene diagram in there. When she came out, phone in hand, face like a thundercloud, she had nothing. Because there was nothing. And that's when things got weirder. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "You must be gay." I blinked. "What?" She repeated it, slower, like I hadn't heard. "If you're not cheating on me, you must be gay." I swear to you, I thought I was being pranked. Like maybe Ashton Kutcher was gonna leap out of the laundry hamper and yell, "Punked!" But nope. She was serious. I just stood there, mouth slightly open, wondering how I'd gone from loyal boyfriend to a character in some twisted psychological rom-com that nobody asked for. And then she kicked me out. The day before Christmas, said she didn't want to see my lying face, called her entire family, and told them I was gay, like she was announcing the weather. Her brother texted me and said we needed to talk. I knew what that meant. He's one of those guys who thinks punching solves most things, including sexuality apparently. So there I was, in my car, Christmas Eve, a gym bag full of socks and disappointment riding shotgun, wondering how the heck I got here. And the worst part? I didn't even do anything. I was just too loyal. Which apparently is now a red flag. Ain't that something? Everyone else is drinking hot cocoa, unwrapping pajama sets, and pretending to like their in-laws. And me? I'm parked outside a Walmart, eating cold chicken nuggets from the passenger seat like it's a 5-star holiday feast. I've got nowhere to go. Jess kicked me out with all the holiday cheer of a bouncer at closing time. And when I say kicked out, I don't mean there was a discussion. I mean I got hit with the "you need to leave now," like I was a villain, in a Hallmark movie who just revealed he doesn't believe in Christmas. I checked into the cheapest motel I could find, one of those places where the carpet feels like it's seen some things. You know the type. The guy at the front desk gave me a look like, breakup or parole violation, and honestly, I couldn't even be mad. I looked the part. I'm scrolling through my phone, trying to mentally build a case for how I'm not the bad guy here, when I get a message. From Jess's brother. Let's call him Zach, because of course his name is Zach. The dude was born to wear tank tops year-round. Zach's message is short. So I heard you're gay and leading my sister on. We need to talk. Come by. Now, to clarify, I'm not gay. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay. It's just not my lane. But somehow, this has become the narrative Jess is broadcasting like it's her Christmas carol. Part of me wanted to ignore it. But another part of me, the part that enjoys making things way more difficult than necessary, decided to go, yeah, I know. Bad idea alert. But I wasn't about to let this snowball into family legend. Like, I could already picture future Thanksgivings. Oh hey, remember when Jess dated that guy who was secretly gay and broke her heart on Christmas? Cue dramatic sighs and passive-aggressive pie serving. So the next morning, Christmas Day, I put on my least wrinkled flannel and drove over to her parents' house like I was walking into a hostage negotiation. The house looked like a Christmas card exploded on it. Lights, blow-up reindeer, candy cane lawn stakes. It was aggressively festive. Inside, her whole family was there, decked out in matching pajamas, the kind of family that does themes. And there was Zach, leaning against the kitchen counter like a bouncer at a suburban Olive Garden. Dude had arms like tree trunks and a face that said, I drink raw eggs for fun. He didn't say a word at first, just pointed at the back porch. I followed him out like I was walking toward a duel. He shut the door behind us, turned around and said, You messed her up. I exhaled, bracing. Man, I didn't cheat on her. That's what this is about. She says you wouldn't touch her, that you don't talk to other women. What's that supposed to mean, huh? I blinked. It means I was loyal. That's literally the thing everyone says they want. He frowned, like I'd just tried to explain string theory. Yeah, but like, not too loyal, right? That's weird. That was when I realized we weren't even speaking the same language. In Zach's mind, a dude not cheating is suspicious. Like being a vegan at a Texas barbecue. Doesn't compute. So I tried to reason with him. I told him everything. About the fake profiles, the Reddit messages, the catfishing attempts that had more red flags than a carnival. He just stared at me. And then, shockingly, he shrugged. Yeah, that sounds like her. I blinked. Wait, what? She's always been kinda intense, he said. Honestly, I was surprised it lasted this long. I wanted to laugh and scream at the same time. Zach, the human kettlebell, had just casually admitted his sister was emotionally unstable after trying to square up with me. You ever feel like the whole world is gaslighting you? Yeah, that. So I said, okay, so you don't think I'm gay? He squinted at me. I mean, it'd be fine if you were, but nah. You're just a weirdo, I think. Which, honestly, might be the most accurate description anyone's ever given me. Before I left, Jess's mom handed me a Tupperware of ham like it was part of a peace treaty. No apology, no, sorry we ruined your Christmas. Just a plastic container of lukewarm forgiveness. I got back in my car, put the ham on the passenger seat where my dignity used to be, and drove back to the motel. Alone? Christmas Day. Motel 6. Watching reruns of Die Hard and wondering how I'd become too faithful to function in modern relationships. So it's a couple days after Christmas. I'm still holed up in the motel, living off gas station sandwiches and lukewarm optimism, trying to figure out what to do next. Jess hadn't texted me, called me, nothing. Not even a meme, radio silence, which was ironic considering I'm the one she accused of emotional espionage. I figured I'd give it some space, let things cool off. Maybe the Christmas chaos got to her. Maybe she'd realize she went a little Maori on me. Maybe. Just maybe. She'd remember that I'm the same guy who used to drive across town to bring her soup when she had the flu and Netflix was buffering. But nah. Instead, I started hearing from mutual friends. You know, the neutral zone of any breakup war. Suddenly, people were texting me like I was a missing person. Hey man, just heard what Jess said. You okay? You really didn't cheat? She told us you got caught. She said you've been catfishing her? Bro, what? It was like watching a bad episode of Gossip Girl starring people who still use group chats named after their college dorm. Turns out Jess had rewritten the whole plot. According to her, I had been the one creating fake accounts. That I was testing her loyalty. That I was emotionally manipulating her. I mean, the woman flipped the script so hard, I almost questioned my own memory, and suddenly I was the villain in everyone's story. I wasn't even mad. I was impressed. She played the reverse Uno card in midair, so I did what any sad, semi-unhinged man does post-breakup. I tried to go home. Now, let me be clear, my name was on the lease. That apartment? It wasn't just hers, it was ours. But when I walked up the steps and turned the key, guess what? She had changed the locks. You ever get locked out of your own apartment, holding a bag of laundry and a stale box of cereal, while a cat watches you from the window like, dang, you really messed up, huh? That's a unique kind of humiliation. I called her, straight to voicemail. I texted her. Read, no reply. I even sent one of those, can we talk like adults, messages, which in hindsight, always reads like desperation wrapped in false maturity. Still nothing. Eventually, I just sat on the stairs outside, eating dry cereal with my hand like a raccoon at a picnic. It was dark, cold, and the hallway light above me kept flickering like a horror movie was about to kick off. Then, the neighbor popped her head out. Sweet old lady, always smelled like Vicks VapoRub and dryer sheets. She gave me a pitiful smile and said, "She told the landlord you moved out, said you were unstable." I laughed. Not like a ha-ha laugh, more like that weird breathy wheeze people make when they're so far past annoyed they've entered the absurd. Unstable? Ma'am, I alphabetized my spice rack. She offered me a cup of tea. I declined. Nothing against tea, but I was afraid if I walked into her place, I'd cry into one of her doilies and never leave. So I crashed at a buddy's place. Let's call him Mark. The dude lives like he's prepping for a zombie apocalypse. Bare walls, 2 beanbag chairs, and a fridge full of expired energy drinks. But he had a couch and didn't ask questions, which at that point made him a saint. I spent the next few days living like some exiled sitcom character. Waking up to the sound of Mark snoring like a power tool, scrolling Reddit like it was therapy, and wondering how the heck not cheating somehow turned into me losing my home, my girlfriend, and half my reputation. I wasn't angry. Not really. I mean, yeah, it sucked, but mostly I was just confused. How did doing the right thing make me the bad guy? And here's the kicker. I still loved her. Or at least, I loved the version of her that wasn't sending fake messages and turning her brother into an emotional hitman. The version who used to laugh at my dumb jokes and wear my hoodies even though they swallowed her whole. But that version? She was gone. Replaced by someone who was so afraid of being hurt that she made sure it happened on her terms. And me? I was just collateral damage. So after a week of couch surfing, existential spiraling, and pretending expired Pop-Tarts counted as meals, I finally decided to pull myself together. I found a short-term rental on Craigslist, which, by the way, should be an Olympic event. You haven't lived until you've toured a cozy basement unit that turns out to be a converted storage room, with a shower head hanging from the ceiling like a horror movie prop. But I found a spot, decent enough. Shared wall with a drummer who thought 2 a.m. was creative hour, but hey, progress. I bought some mismatched furniture from a thrift store, set up my laptop on an ironing board, and started calling it home. That was step 1. Step 2? Trying to exist again in society, which was a bit tricky considering half my social circle thought I was either a catfisher or closeted. You know that awkward stage in a breakup where people don't know whether to invite you to things or pretend you died? I was in that stage. But the real cherry on the why me Sunday came 2 weeks later. I was at this coffee shop I used to love. Quirky place, walls covered in old records, baristas that dress like they time-traveled from a 2008 indie film. I hadn't been back since the breakup. Too many memories, too many awkward, "oh hey, where's Jess" run-ins. But that day, I decided I deserved a real coffee, one made by someone who knew what the heck they were doing, not instant powder mixed with hot regret. I ordered my usual black coffee, splash of oat milk, because yes, I'm basic and mildly lactose intolerant, and sat down in the corner, started answering emails. Trying to act normal. That's when I heard her laugh. You ever hear a sound that's tattooed on your brain? That's what her laugh was. Light, sharp, just the right amount of mocking, like she always knew something you didn't. I looked up, and there she was. Jess, standing 10 feet away in a mustard yellow coat that somehow made her look both adorable and untrustworthy. She saw me. Our eyes locked. Time slowed in that way. It only does when your stomach drops and your brain starts replaying every dumb decision you've made since high school. She didn't look surprised. In fact, she smiled, waved a little, like we were just two old friends bumping into each other in the frozen aisle. She walked over, pulled out the chair across from me, sat down like she hadn't nuked my life just a few weeks earlier. "Hey," she said, like nothing had happened. "Hey," I replied, still trying to figure out if I was dreaming, hallucinating, or just being pranked by the universe again. There was a pause. That awkward, buzzing silence that only exists between people with so much to say and no idea how to start. And then, she said it. "I've been thinking about you." I blinked. "Have you told your brother to stop thinking about me? Because he still sends me memes with the caption, 'Betrayal hurts.'" She laughed. "I messed up," she said. "I think I pushed you away on purpose. I was scared. I stayed quiet. Because honestly, I didn't know what to say." She was finally giving me the words I'd been screaming for in my head, but hearing them out loud just felt tired. "I didn't cheat," I said softly. "Not once." "I know," she replied, looking down. That hurt more than I expected. She looked back up. "I thought maybe we could talk sometime. Now, old me?" He would have said yes, jumped at the idea, hoped that love could fix everything. But present me? Motel living? Cereal for dinner? Emotionally dented me? I shook my head. "I think we've said everything we needed to." She nodded slowly, smiled again. Sad this time. And stood up. No dramatics. No final zinger. Just a quiet walk out the door. And just like that, she was gone. I sat there a while longer, letting my coffee go cold. It tasted bitter now, burnt, overbrewed, but somehow fitting. A little like closure, a little like regret. Funny how life doesn't give you big moments with background music and slow-motion exits. Just small ones. Like coffee and second chances you choose not to take. So, that was the storm. The weeks after that coffee shop run-in were quiet. Not like peaceful quiet. More like that eerie silence after a tornado flattens your backyard, and all that's left is a busted lawn chair and a stunned squirrel. You're just standing there like, well, guess I'm rebuilding. And that's what I did. I got my own place. Real furniture this time. No more ironing board desks. I started going to the gym again. Not because I wanted revenge abs, but because sweating out sadness is cheaper than therapy. I even got a cat. Named him Biscuits. He doesn't like me, but I respect that about him. The hardest part? Trusting people again. Not just romantically, but in general. Like, do you know how hard it is to accept a compliment after you've been accused of being too faithful? It's like someone saying, "Hey, great job on existing," and you flinch a little. But here's the wild thing. Once I stopped chasing closure, it started finding me in weird places. Like, I got a message one night on Reddit. Totally normal post. Just a meme about bad coffee. Someone replied, "Wow, you're funny. This gave me a much-needed laugh today. Thank you." I clicked on their profile. Nothing shady. No stock photos. No weird links. Just a girl who liked books, horror movies, and apparently bad jokes. So I replied back. Just a glad it helped smiley face. We started talking. Nothing flirty. Just honest. Real. Like two people quietly unpacking their lives while the world scrolled on. She didn't ask for my number. Didn't push anything. Didn't try to guess my every move or accuse me of secret intentions. She just listened. And man, I didn't realize how rare that was. Weeks passed. Then months. We swapped usernames for playlists. Then stories. Then one day she asked if I wanted to get coffee, sometime. No pressure. Just a maybe. So I said yes, and on the day we were supposed to meet, I walked into that same coffee shop from months ago, the one where I saw Jess, and ordered my usual. She was already sitting there. Different vibe. Calm, comfortable in her own skin. I smiled. She smiled back. And before I even sat down, she asked, "So do you ever get accused of being too loyal?" I laughed. "More than you'd believe." She raised an eyebrow. "Is that gonna be a problem?" I shook my head. "Not if you don't mind honesty." And then, for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like a villain, or a joke, or a guy with a reputation that didn't belong to him. I just felt real. We talked for hours, about nothing and everything. And as the sun started to set and the cafe lights dimmed, I glanced at her phone case. It had a little sticker on it, a cartoon cat, holding a slice of pizza. Wearing sunglasses, I pointed at it and said, "Okay, that's aggressively my vibe." She laughed. "You like cats?" I smirked. "I live with one. His name's Biscuits. He's emotionally unavailable but deeply committed to judging me." She paused, smiling at me like she already knew this was going somewhere, and then she said, "Maybe I could meet him sometime." I raised my coffee cup like a toast and replied, "Careful, he's the only one I trust to catfish me now."